All right, so here we go. We're gonna make this self-watering. So we got regular plant here. First, we're gonna notice how dry it is. So I can feel it, and it feels like it's partially moist. Roots look good, very nice. It's a succulent, so I can totally let that dry out a little longer if I like. But I wanna make this self-watering. So it's really nice is you can get one of these cups. So like your basic cups, and they fit quite nicely on here. Awesome. Then we need a hole on the bottom, but in the side. So here we are. Make a little cut, and what I love about this method is it takes all of like 5 minutes maybe. Then you need Leca. You can do rocks, you could do perlite, just anything that's like, you could do glass pebbles if you want, anything that's just hard and that's not going to rot. And that's kind of coarse like this, so that you have nice air spaces. Because these are round, they should have about 30% air spaces inside, which is key. That'll keep your water much fresher for much longer. Now, if this was loose soil, I would not do this. And the reason why is because the soil will not hold on, it'll sink in, and then it'll kind of get all like mushy and gross. So because this is full of roots, I'm not worried about that. So we've got this here, then we've got this, which sits nicely in here. And then probably could use a better airspace. I would maybe go a little bit lower. And you'll see what I mean once I do this. So here's our beautiful plant. I didn't have to traumatize the roots or separate it apart or anything like that, which is what I used to do to adjust plants to the system. That was not needed. A nice little watering here. This both acts as the drip tray and what this will do is these plants are smart. So this guy's gonna be like, hey, there's water down here. I should grow some water roots so that I can drink of water as I need it, which is pretty cool. Now the real key, let me see if I can get this in the camera. The real key, very, very important, is, I don't know how well I can adjust this. Here we go. You always want, wherever that water level is, you always want some air space between the pure water and wherever these roots are. And the roots down here will be water roots, so they don't need to have air, although it is good to, put water through it several times. Now the next thing, or to have water flowing through this, every few weeks or so, just so that water doesn't lose all its nutrients and oxygen or gather fertilizer salts. So you might look at this and say, okay, well, it's not very pretty. That is what Target dollar store containers are for. Ta-da! So here we go. That is your self-watering plant. And if you practice this method, then you can eventually expand this to wicking beds, go as far as you like if you have an outdoor garden or balcony or community garden space. Once you get the hang of this, you can really expand it. You'll get used to it, and it's gonna allow you to save water and grow a lot more stuff than if you had to hand water everything. Although there is a time and place for hand watering, and it can be a really good thing for your skill as a gardener or for your enjoyment. So if you had to check water for this guy frequently, then you would have time to look at the flowers. So depending on the situation, you do want to have a system that's not quite as set it and forget it as this is. But for me, it's perfect because I have hundreds of plants, so I need to be able to forget about them for a week or two and come back to them. So that's that. I did do one thing I'm doing here I wouldn't recommend. It's I put this Leca in straight. And this particular stuff called Leca or clay pellets, has a lot of like I don't know if it's salts or like dust left over from the mining factory or what have you. And so those dusts actually aren't very good for the plants. But what I'm going to do with this is I'm going to flush it with water, but ideally you would kind of like soak this and wash off any salts. And if you use glass pebbles or perlite, you wouldn't really have to worry about that at all. So there you have it. That is that. And what's really nice about this is it's very hard. As long as you keep an airspace here, it is super difficult to overwater this guy. So that's what's really fun about that. I'm trying to think if there's any other caveats. Oh, if it's really cold, I wouldn't do this method. If it's very cold for what the plant prefers, so like let's say this face freezing temperatures, you probably don't want water there, or the roots getting frozen off as a solid block. But outside of that, this works for a whole lot of situations. So there you have it. Enjoy. If you try this out, let me know. If you want help trying this out, let me know. And yeah, I'll see you in the next video.